Welcome to Frankly Speaking Hurricanes Football with your host, Frank Masdeu. Well, welcome to Frankly Speaking Canes Football. I've got my brother, Robert Powell, and I'm very excited to have him with me, and we've got a lot to go over. We've got to preview this upcoming game with the Spartans at Michigan State and talk about the previous two games, recap Alabama, and also talk about what happened at App State. So, Robert, you there? I'm going to go ahead and ask you to introduce yourself real quick. A long time be a Cane. So go ahead.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? I'm Robert, and actually went to University of Miami, 79 through 84. Been a Cane fan for many, many years. Followed them through all that time, and even now, season ticket holder. Just enjoy my Canes. Just watch them go through a lot of ups and downs, and attended games in the Orange Bowl. Went to a few of the national championship games, the back-to-back national championship games. I had a chance to witness a lot of other games. So this is my passion, man. This is what I enjoy. I look forward to it. There's really no other sport I kind of lock into other than college football. Definitely when the Canes are playing. It is what I enjoy. And hey, man, looking forward to spending some time with you this evening. And then I know we'll be hooking up at the game this weekend. And we should have some coverage and some commentary after that game as well. So
now looking at Michigan State, what are your thoughts? We're talking about they beat Northwestern. You know a little bit more about that game, and I wanted to get your thoughts. Northwestern has a big name. I mean, they've had good programs. Who is Michigan State? What are Michigan State?
Well, that question I think you can ask of both teams. And I was listening to a gentleman who was, basically not a commentator, but speaking on the Michigan State side of things. And he made a good point on both teams. And I agree with him. And he said this. He said, we don't know about either team. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's talk about Miami real quick. They played the number one team in the nation that manhandled the number 3 team last year for the national championship with a point spread almost exactly what we had. Put up 52 points on them, put 44 on us.
Yep.
Right. So who is Miami? We wish we could have seen more plays. Yeah, we wish that, but no one thought Miami would win that game. Now, of course, there was a lot of wishful thinking. I had my wishful thinking. I think when we gave our predictions, we gave 2 predictions.
Yes.
Right. So that's one thing. Then they play App State. Right. We beat them. We were supposed to beat them. But still you walk out of that game. Okay. Do we still know we still don't know. So that's Miami. Michigan State, the guy said, they don't know what they have in Michigan State. Yeah, they got this dynamic running back, transfer portal from Wake Forest. I think they pulled in, 14, 15, some unbelievable number out of the portal. I think they only won 2 games last year. And now they're 2-0 already. And what's interesting is that they had 2 wins last year, and one of the wins was against Northwestern last year. So they beat Northwestern this year. Okay. So what? Then they beat Youngstown State or Youngstown. Well, they're a D2, D3 squad? Great program, a winning program in that division, doing some damage. They're no slouch, but really. So that's who they won against. Are they doing it impressively? Yes. But you did that against Northwestern last year when you were not really good, and you did it against a D2, D3 school, right? So here are two teams that's a lot of question marks about who they really are. Now, Michigan State, I will give it to them. They've shown more signs of brilliance than we have, than Miami has. But then again, we played the number one team in the nation, and we played a very good App State squad, who is, for the last 3 or 4 years, they haven't lost anything. I mean, they won 9 to 10 games a year. So we will see. We will see. Those are my thoughts on this game. Um, I think Miami has more to show. Personally, I think Miami has more to show because although Michigan State is questions about who they played, they dominated.
Mm-hmm.
They dominated. They did what they were supposed to do, and they did it in good fashion. So, those are my quick hit thoughts on those two on those two teams.
No, I agree with you. The only difference I see is like in Alabama, the team that beat Ohio State wasn't the same team that we played because they replaced 8 out of 11 starters on offense, and they still hit it, and they still hit us pretty hard. The defense was the same, but the offense wasn't. But to your point, we don't know. We have no idea what we have, and the thing about it is these are games that kind of scare you because the teams aren't very familiar with each other, and it could be a very close game, or it could be a blowout one way or the other. You just don't know. I will tell you this: the fact that they brought in so many transfer portal guys, it's extremely impressive that they were able to integrate those players into their team and start the season 2-0. Usually with the transfer portal guys, unless every one of them was an upgrade, which it seems to be, a substantial upgrade, usually you have to work them into the lineup and get them going, and it takes them time to learn the system. But apparently it hasn't really happened with Michigan State. So it's going to be a fascinating thing. What is the money line? Do you know what the money line is on this game for Saturday?
I think Miami, I think 6 points or something like that.
Really? Really? What are your thoughts looking at this game? Because we're going to do prediction time here now too, because we're getting close.
Yeah, I think that the game is going to be close. I think it's going to be a close game. 6 points feel right. But if Miami does not contain that Kenneth Walker, I mean, it's going to be a problem. I mean, against Northwestern, he had 23 carries for 264 yards.
Oh my God.
Every time he touched the ball, it was about 12 yards.
So were they running a stretch play, or are they running the running off tackle, stretching with the offensive line?
Michigan State runs power,
similar to what Alabama and similar to what Appalachian, actually similar to what Appalachian was running against us.
Yep. So wow. Yeah, very, very interesting there.
I understand they could throw it pretty well too.
Yep. They can throw it fairly well. It looks as though 15 of 25 against Northwestern, 185 yards and 1 touchdown. Kenneth Walker rushed for 4 touchdowns in that game.
You don't need to throw it.
You don't need to throw it. Right. So that very, very interesting. Michigan State in the Youngstown game. Let me see. Okay, you had another player, Jordan Simmons. He had 16 carries for 121 yards.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's almost 8 yards a carry.
And that's against Northwestern?
That was against Youngstown.
Oh, Youngstown, okay.
So here you have 2 running backs that in 2 games, they got 300 yards rushing between them.
Wow. That's going to be a challenge, especially for our linebackers. Yeah.
And you better believe they're going to attack our linebacker group, knowing that one of our linebackers are out. I guess it's Avery Huff that's going to fill that role, and he's been, the talk about him has been very promising. But we have to wait and see.
Did you see the interviews with the linebacker coach talking about Avery Huff? It was interesting. You know why he hasn't played? He said that he's probably the most athletic, lean. He's 6'3", 200 and I think 218 pounds, something like that. 6'2", 6'3". He's one of the most athletic linebackers we have. But he said you got to know the playbook. You got to know and I think that's what's held him out. He's got to get serious. But as far as raw talent, he's supposed to be one of the most talented linebackers we have. So it's going to be very interesting. But then again, Keontae Smith beat him out for the position. So you're still going to see a drop off.
Yep. You're going to see it. And see, I'd rather have an athletic linebacker that's kind of feeling his way with the plays because he can make it up with speed, athleticism, versus someone as your prototypical linebacker, size, all the measurables, but is still trying to learn the playbook. Give me the athletic one. Give me the athletic one that may not have the physical measurables as far as size and so on and so forth and experience. Give me the person who's going to be making up, some field, can cover sideline to sideline, can recover from their mistakes physically fairly quickly. So we will see as far as that is concerned. But the problem still remains. We are weak at linebacker. And when it comes to running the ball, and their offensive line is pretty good. Their offensive line is pretty good. You don't get 185 yards against a D1 squad, regardless of who you are.
That's right.
If that offensive line is not doing what they need to do.
That's right. So the big question is going to be how our offensive line matches up against their D line. Are we going to be able to get? Did Northwestern get any run yards against them? Did Youngstown make any yardage against them?
Yeah. Don't know. I'll look up the stats now, but I'm not for sure.
Because that's going to be the key, is how our offensive line will match up against their D line. Because if we can control the ball, then I think it'll be a really good day. If we're struggling to run the ball with only Harris and a young kid in Brown, that could be a really big problem for us.
Yeah, Northwestern against them though. This may be in Harris's favor. The cat threw 30 times. He completed, he threw 43 times and completed 30, 283 yards passing and 3 touchdowns.
That's Youngstown?
No, that's Northwestern.
Northwestern, okay.
So it is known that their secondary is suspect.
Got it.
They didn't run on their defense. I mean, they had a total, one guy, their number one rusher, had 9 carries for 87 yards. The next high one was 14 yards. Yeah,
but at 9 carries for 87, that's 10 yards.
That's 10 yards a carry.
I mean, that's significant.
Yep. So I just think that the running game was too much for him. I think that the running game was just too much for him. Northwestern had a total of 400 yards and Michigan State had 511. But the yards per play, you had 8 versus 5. And what? Oh, geez. Northwestern, at time of possession was 37 minutes compared to Michigan State at 22.
Wow. So Michigan had big plays. So it was explosive plays that beat Northwestern.
Looking at the stats, right, you would say, that game probably should have been a lot closer.
Yes.
Because third down conversion, 8 of 20 for Northwestern. Michigan State, 4 of 10.
Wow.
Okay, that's about the same, right? That's about the same. They converted 4 out of 5 fourth downs.
Wow.
So
4 out of 5 Wait a minute,
4 out of 5.
Who converted that? Northwestern or was
Northwestern?
it? Oh, wow.
Northwestern did. They also ran 81 plays. Northwest. So based on those stats, they were killing them between the 20s, but they just couldn't score.
Which has been our problem against App State.
Once you got into the red zone. Yeah.
Yep. So that's interesting. But they threw the ball against them. So
they threw it. Yeah. Of the 400 yards, 283 was passing. Michigan State ran all over them, though. 326.
What was the final score?
38-21.
Okay.
Not a big difference, but enough. But looking at the stats, you would have thought that the game would have been a little bit closer. And Michigan State even had a lost fumble.
Wow.
So Northwest between the 20s, they just couldn't score. So,
interesting.
Interesting.
So going forward for the game on Saturday, what do you see happening? You think it's going to be a 6-point game?
I think it is.
And what it's going to be? Is it going to be over under 60?
I think it's going to be under 60. I think it's going to be under 60. I think it's going to be in the 50s. 20, 25 to 23, 24 to 30. They'll get you right to the 60 maybe. 21, 25, 46. But I don't think it's going to be in the 60s. I just don't. I do believe that if they get behind, they're going to have to go away from the running game.
Yes.
I think that we're going to expose further their secondary if King has time. I think we're going to use our tight ends more. I think that we have to set up the run with the pass, not the set up the pass with the run. I just don't think our offensive line is going to be able to run block. They pass block.
Yeah.
I think they do a fairly good job pass blocking.
I'm gonna differ with you on this one. I have a feeling, and again, I'm going to put it out there as a feeling, not as based on any empirical evidence, other than the lines that we went against. When we went against some pretty good, stout defensive lines in Alabama and App State, and I'm going to say that we win this game 37-17 or 37-20.
Wow.
I think King is going to hit a lot of receivers, and I think we're going to be able to score. I think we're going to be able to put up some points early. I could be wrong, and it could be a 6-point game. They've got to be ready, and we'll see what happens. But what does hurt us is the fact that we don't have the backup in Chaney. If we had Chaney as a backup, I would be more confident in that, but we'll see what happens. I just think, first of all, I think it's a 12:30 or 12 o'clock kickoff. It's going to be 90 degrees outside with a humidity of about 80 degrees. You've got a Michigan State team coming in, and I think that Miami's probably better conditioned, and I think we're going to separate in the third quarter. I think it's going to be a big. That's where it's going to happen, and I do think our offensive line is going to fare better than they did in the first two games, because now they've settled on the players. We've got our set play, and we'll see how the defense responds. But what are your thoughts? What do you think the score would be?
At first, I put down 30-20 Miami, but I'm going to change that. I think it'll be like 28-20.
Okay.
I don't think Miami's going to hit 30. I don't think Miami's going to get out of the 20s. I do believe they're going to win, but I don't think they're going to get out of the 20s. I think that the offensive line is going to have problems. I think it'll be tough for us to establish our run game, and I think so much is going to rely on King.
Well, one quick question before you make that prediction. on the Michigan State side of the ball, with the teams that they faced, like Northwestern and I don't know who the other team was, did they face a running quarterback? Was it a running quarterback that got any yards? Because I think that's going to make a big difference. I think De'Aaron King is the difference in the game.
Yeah, let's see. So their quarterback is Hunter Johnson. He had no yards based on what I'm seeing here. No yards running. So he is a pocket passer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good point. Well, I'm sorry. Well, he had 11 carries for a -14. So he was sacked and lost yardage. So he was basically a statue back there.
Mm-hmm.
The other
Youngstown?
Youngstown. Let's take a look at that real quick. Youngstown, they had two quarterbacks, but one was more than he was a running quarterback. 69 yards on 18 carries, about 4 yards a carry. And this other cat had 1 carry for 3 yards. So they faced that running quarterback, but it didn't do them any good. 10 of 23, 81 yards. Passing, yeah.
So he wasn't a good passer either. And they lost to Youngstown by how much? How much did Youngstown lose?
They lost by 28, 42 to 14. So great, good insight there, Frankie, because their preparation is going to be totally different than any one of those teams.
Yes.
From a quarterback perspective, because up until this point, it's unlike any quarterback they ever faced. So I suspect that the D-line is going to be hesitant to go bull rushing up the field with the fear of him squirting out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we may see him running more, or at least looking like he's going to run. I think that the RPO is going to work. I really do. I really think it's going to work because they're going to have to be thinking a lot.
Yes.
Thinking a lot. And that's something hard to duplicate in practice if you don't have another quarterback that can run that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's going to be making decisions at the time of, the beginning of the play. He's going to look like a run. If that tight end crashes, he's going to take out. If he doesn't crash, he's going to pull it out and he's going to go for a pass.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good insight, Frankie. That is going to be a big difference then. It is going to be a big difference. So we have to see how King steps up.
Robert, so maybe this will be one of those games where we can sit back, have a couple beers, and not have to worry about it and enjoy the game.
Oh, man, I surely hope so.
Instead of sweating it out, man.
Jeez, I was in the stands, man, last week, and my sons were with me, and my younger son just got engaged, and the young lady he got engaged to is an App State person, man. And she's a good, she's a good sportsmanship. But I can imagine, and then, we got a ride from Miami back to Naples, so she's in the car with us. So I'm thinking, oh, man, if we lose this game, I got to be up here with this person. That's not going to be a good ride.
By the way, a special congratulations to you and a salute to you as the father of 2 fine officers from West Point, 2 young men. We didn't get a chance to really talk about 9/11, but my heart goes out to you, Robert, and in gratitude to the 2 young men that you raised. Hunter and Cayman are fantastic young men. God's blessed them. They're terrific, and you're a very fortunate guy. And it's nice that they were at the game with you. I think it's fantastic. God bless him, and I'm so happy for Hunter. His life is going to change, as you well know.
Oh yeah. It's going to change more than he knows. That's for sure.
That's more than he knows. That's right. It'll be good though. It'll all be good.
Of course. We all have been there, and we had to change a little bit ourselves, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, listen, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I want to thank you so much I want everybody who's watching to hit the like button, subscribe, go ahead and post it wherever you can. Go Canes. We're looking for a wonderful game and a great season. And let's go out there and support our Canes regardless. Win, lose, or draw. These are our kids. We support them. We love them. We love the coaching staff. And we're going to be there to cheer them on. And hopefully we can raise a glass on Saturday. And if it's a big enough win, it'll be a scotch. If it's not, it'll be a beer. So Anyway, God bless you guys. Again, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode of Frankly Speaking Canes. And for Robert Powell and myself, God bless you guys. Out. Canes, go you.
All right. Let's go. Let's go get them.
There we go.
All right, brother.